Welcome back to the Dinner Party Show with Christopher Rice and Derek Shaw Quinn.
Hi, and our wonderful, very, very, very special guest, Patricia Nell Warren.
So, earlier in the show, we were talking about this controversy around Orson Scott Card, who is, I would describe him as a pretty public homophobe, being placed in charge of Superman, the comic book, at DC Comics. I just thought maybe this might be something you would have an opinion about. You don't call me crazy.
Well, starting with the fact that my brother and I used to read Superman comics when we were kids. We literally would walk into town from the ranch.
How far was that?
Well, about a quarter of a mile, actually, from the ranch headquarters into town.
Brisk.
Quarter
As
in your
brisk
pocket,
walk.
You could buy a couple of comic books for a quarter.
Remember?
And get a nickel change and buy some candy with the nickel. And so we would, so haven't read a lot of Superman recently, but when I read his comments and his response to all of this, the thing that really struck me is he goes back to this nonsensical idea of what civil rights is. And okay, we have to allow, black people because you can't change the color of your skin.
Yeah, that's
and you
lovely.
can't hide.
Thanks.
And other than that, there is no other such thing as real civil rights, is really what he's saying. And that is complete baloney. Mm-hmm. Because civil rights is, there's a lot of different groups of people who need to have human rights protected, that you're not always the same thing all your life. I mean, we have rights for children. You're not a child all your life.
We have rights for the disabled, which is the
rights
minority
for the disabled.
We can all join at any moment in time.
You have rights for the elderly. I mean, as of 65, I have rights that I didn't have before I was 65. There are all these different. There are rights for veterans. You're not always in the military, and so there are different areas where a reasonable person a rational person will recognize.
That's the part.
That it's the human thing. You recognize that there are human rights for different groups
unalienable.
Of people. Yes,
it says somewhere fairly important.
Even if it's only unalienable for 18 years until you become an adult, then you have adult human rights. That's a whole different thing.
And the point of saying that people have unalienable rights is the idea that just because you're in the majority doesn't mean you can go around taking away other people's rights.
Absolutely.
That's the point of civil rights.